My name is Leslie O'Reilly. I'm Executive Director of Oceans Advance, which is the ocean technology cluster here in St. John's, Newfoundland. I am co-chair of this international roundtable with Dr. Henri Rothschild. Henri is President and CEO of ISTP Canada. And we have been working together now for a number of months and years, really, in looking at new avenues for Canada to participate in international collaboration in relation to innovation, technology, and research. And so I and my team are delighted to work with Henri and his team to bring this roundtable to you. Honorable Minister, Mr. Mayor, our Honorary Chair, Dr. Art May, right to my left here, and Dr. Art May, many of you know from his many years in leading major institutions in Canada and more recently Memorial University. We're delighted to have you with us this morning. Mr. Paul Mills, Vice President of ACOA, also joining us this morning, and I will be introducing our guests in a little while. And to all of you who are joining us from China, Brazil, India, Israel, and across Canada, we are delighted to welcome you here to our wonderful city, our City of Oceans Excellence, as St. John's has branded itself. And of course, being located where we are really positions us well to really grow our strength here in ocean science and technology. Our cluster, Oceans Advance, here, which is the organization that leads the cluster, has been in operation for probably 8 to 9 years. We have been formally organized since 2005. Our job is really to promote the growth of the ocean technology sector here in Newfoundland and Labrador, and of course, in order to do that, forming international collaborations is a fundamental principle and base on which we have been operating, given that the ocean technology business is a global business with 60+% of the export development of that sector deriving its revenue internationally. So on behalf of my board, Oceans Advance, and the cluster, and our institute and industry partners, our government partners, we're delighted to be part of this roundtable. I'm now going to ask my co-chair, Dr. Henri Rothschild, if he would come forward and make some opening remarks.
Thanks very much, Les, and I want to add my words of welcome to the dignitaries from St. John's and Newfoundland, across Canada, and the distinguished delegations from the 4 countries. We know that there is no such thing as marine and ocean technology. There is a challenge that the marine environment presents, and in an age of unprecedented scientific discovery and innovation, we have available to us additional tools, additional capability, additional knowledge in which to address the challenges of operating in an ocean's environment, availing ourselves of its incredible resources, respecting its sustainability, and all the rest. This is what this roundtable is about, how we can find ways of pooling this capacity, extending the concept of marine technology, having said there's no such thing, but still it is an agglomeration of capabilities and know-how. The oceans are a frontier, and they challenge our best imagination and capabilities. But the oceans can also challenge our spirit, and at this time, I know that you'll share with me the solidarity we have with the people of Japan that have recently experienced the other side of what the ocean offers us. We're inspired by their resilience, their courage, and their dignity faced with the disasters of the last several weeks. That inspiration will guide us in our work ahead in the next few days. I can think of no person, and by the way, this is now starting my introduction of Arthur May, I can think of no person that is emblematic of what we're about than Arthur May, who's an old friend. I put the emphasis on friend and not on old, either him or I. Arthur is not only an embodiment of what's best about Newfoundland and Canada, but in fact his life's work reflects the kind of challenges we have ahead. He's a fisheries biologist and a marine scientist. He has the scientific credibility from the get-go, and he has served at the highest level of activity in the country and the province in areas related to what we're about. Arthur May reached the level of Deputy Minister of Fisheries and Oceans a few years ago, and was president of the Natural Sciences and Engineering Research Council. To those who are not Canadian, that is the largest funding body of the Government of Canada supporting research across the universities of this country. He was its second president, I believe, and was instrumental in ensuring that this organization plays a key role in funding the development of science in this country. He went from there to come back home and become president and I think it's vice chancellor of Memorial University, and led it through an incredible period of growth. There are too many distinctions for me to name, and I don't want to embarrass him, except, again, he represents the best and the most relevant life's work of what this roundtable is about. Arthur is a recipient of the Order of Canada. Again, for non-Canadians, it's this nation's highest honor in terms of reflecting and rewarding contribution to the welfare of this country. So without further ado, it's my great pleasure and honor to introduce to you Dr. Arthur May.
Thank you very much, Henry. As you were speaking, I was thinking that if I'd known I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself. But anyway, here I am, and here we are. Honourable Minister, Your Worship, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and a warm welcome to Canada, to Newfoundland, and to St. John's. For many of you, this will be the first visit to a location where marine science and technology is at the center of things. Now, you may not realize it, but you're practically in the middle of the North Atlantic right now. You're about halfway between Europe and the major population centers of North America. This has been a strategic location ever since its European discovery in 1497. From the wars for the early control of North America, through World Wars I and II, and through the period of the Cold War, Newfoundland and Labrador has housed a variety of foreign military establishments. It indeed is at the crossroads of the North Atlantic. The Atlantic Charter, sometimes credited as the starting point for the United Nations, was signed here, on a warship at anchor on the water. Now, this location in the middle of the North Atlantic is also a strategic one for ocean science and technology. St. John's is located at 47 degrees 34 minutes north latitude, about 150 miles north of Bordeaux. And you'll see we have the terraces and hillsides that would allow us to grow grapes and have vineyards. Except that our climate is not quite the same as that in Bordeaux. From here you can fly to the Azores in 2 hours and 30 minutes. And by tomorrow you're going to want to do that. The weather forecast doesn't happen to be very nice at the moment. But there's no direct service, so you'll have to go to Toronto or Heathrow first. This mid-Atlantic location also places us close to some of the world's most famous fishing grounds, the Grand Banks, and the ocean currents which make this one of the most prolific fishing grounds in the world. More recently, the discovery of oil and gas and oil production about 200 miles offshore has added a highly valuable economic driver to the mix. We don't boast about the weather. The Gulf Stream turns eastward at a point too far south to have any influence except the production of fog. Our coastline is surrounded by the waters of the Arctic Current, flowing straight south out of the Arctic Ocean. Now, why am I telling you all this? It's so you will understand why, over time, has developed a capacity for marine science and technology, and the research and development facilities to back that capacity, second to none anywhere on the planet. Human resources, research programs, technological capacity, testing tanks, ships, research laboratories, simulation facilities, educational programs, industrial operations, and an ocean environment such that you can be certain if it works here, it will work anywhere. And as you know, anywhere means that 70% of the planet, which is made up of the world's oceans. It's a truism, and this is an oft-repeated quote: we know more about the moon's backside than we do about the ocean's bottom. And that's not original. It is remarkable that we can say that about our own planet. The world's oceans are, in fact, our last frontier. They include vast untapped resources, including food, oil and gas, minerals, and a source of renewable energy. Add to that transportation, recreation, defense and security, and moderation of climate, and you begin to understand that we have reached the point where we can no longer take the oceans for granted, in the sense that this is a part of our world which we don't influence or can't control. We're already doing things that future generations may question. The world has taken climate change on board as an issue to be dealt with at the highest levels of our national governments and international institutions. The world's oceans are at least as important in this equation. The overall ocean economy was estimated to be worth about 1.5 trillion Canadian in 2009. Growth in ocean technology has tended to outpace that of the overall ocean economy. These technologies include remote sensing instrumentation, platforms for surveillance and research, robotics, new ship and ocean platform designs, systems to support expansion of aquaculture, and systems to improve offshore safety. The oceans are the most international part of the Earth, second only to the atmosphere. The law of the sea is international. Technologies that address oceanic issues are bound to have international, multinational applications. It's only common sense that international collaboration is essential to national progress. The 5 countries represented at this multilateral roundtable, Brazil, Canada, China, India, and Israel, are here to explore how they can combine their capabilities to meet this challenge. The outcome should include new economic activity, creation of wealth, and more effective stewardship of the oceans. The potential benefits of more active collaboration include sharing of expertise and facilities, expansion of research, enhancement of market and technological intelligence, creation of more and more diverse testbed opportunities, and development of commercially viable technologies. I trust we'll all be able to look back in a few years and be able to point to new and exciting initiatives which we will identify as having had their origins in St. John's in 2011. Thank you very much, and have a great conference.